The bone collector's route. I always knew I was different. My family made sure of it. As a child, I spent my weekends exploring forgotten graveyards and poring over folklore books, each yellowed page whispering secrets of the dead. But what I loved most was bone, those stark remnants of lives lost. When I finally found my calling as a cursed bone cataloger, my parents' derision was swift and merciless. "Why can't you just get a normal job?" my father barked, his voice rough like gravel. "You're going to disgrace this family." My mother, her eyes glazed over with a mix of pity and disdain, watched me with a frown. "It's unhealthy, dear. You need to let this obsession go." But I couldn't let it go. Not after I exposed the city's illegal disposal practices and lost everything. My job, my friends, even my sense of self. The world had turned against me, voicing its disbelief in harsh whispers and pointed fingers. So I embraced my madness, delving deeper into the eerie world of ossuary pattern ritualism, a craft spurned by my family and ridiculed by society. Years passed in a blur of abandoned homes, their dusty corners hiding not just remnants of lives lived, but also whispers of darker rituals. As I cataloged the bones, arranging them in cryptic patterns, I began to understand their power. Those patterns held stories, haunting tales of vengeance, sorrow, and despair, and I was determined to unveil them all, regardless of the cost. The exile into the unknown. I eventually found solace in a small, dilapidated apartment filled with the scent of mildew and aged wood. It was there I lost myself, buried in research and ritual. The bones became my family, and their secrets my obsession. I watched as society turned its back on me, but my resolve only strengthened. I documented everything. The patterns I observed, the eerie phenomena that accompanied them, the shadows that lurked just beyond the periphery of my vision. Each night, I would sit among the bones, feeling their weight upon me, their histories intertwining with my own. I understood them. We were kindred spirits. I was a vessel, a collector of stories lost to time, and I would show the world what they refused to see. When my work began to gain traction, it was less about acceptance, it was about survival. Those who mocked me were suddenly captivated by the horrors I unveiled, but they could never understand the price I'd paid. I had seen things, horrors that clawed at the edges of sanity. But it all came to a head the day I received a call that pulled me back to the place I had left and in many ways had sworn never to return, my family home. The horrific trials and dark triumph, standing in my childhood living room, I could feel the weight of their judgment like a heavy fog. They welcomed me with forced smiles, but the silence spoke volumes. I had become something they could not fathom, a pariah turned oracle. Their glances darted nervously, as if my very presence was a reminder of their past ridicule. "Why don't you show us what you've been working on?" my younger sister Rachel asked hesitantly, her eyes shifting from me to the floor. "Yeah, I've heard you're into some creepy stuff," my brother snickered, the bravado failing to mask his unease. I could tell they didn't believe in the power I wielded. The irony wasn't lost on me. I had spent years toiling in obscurity, only to be thrust back into their midst. But just as I was about to turn and leave, I felt it. A dark, coiling energy pulsing at my fingertips that begged.